to Live Addiction with Steve-O. My guest today is legendary photographer Adam Elmakias. Let me intro Adam a little bit. I got into all this as a concert photographer, and he's got my dream job. The man gets to travel the world with bands taking pictures. If you could, maybe start off with like a little backstory about how you got into all this.
Yeah, so well, first of all, thank you. That's very nice of you, legendary, that was cool.
Yeah.
No, I started shooting, I talked to you, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. I'm like gonna look at the camera. I was like, no, look at Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, I started shooting when I was in high school, going to local shows, going to smaller concerts, and then met a lot of the bands I work with today when they're a lot smaller, and then kind of grew with them. So didn't have much good gear back then, but they were all kind of on the same level. So it's kind of easier when you're on the same level as somebody to get involved with them and then grow with them, rather than finding your favorite big band and trying to just work with them right away.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just starting off with like a 50 millimeter.
Just starting off like just being like, oh, I'm gonna jump into this and work with Metallica or something.
Yeah. So worked from the ground up, did a lot of free stuff for a long time, I'm guessing, and then
a lot of free stuff, a lot of work that I didn't even know how to charge for or even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then that kind of I just learned as I went and grew with it, and all the relationships I have with bands are more real and not as much a paid job, so it's nice. I get to travel with people that I'm actually friends with. Yeah. Not somebody that I was just kind of thrown into the mix with.
Yeah.
And yeah, works great. That's
cool. What was the first band to take you out on the road?
I kind of have two firsts, and I say that because like the first one technically was a band called Just Surrender, but they brought me out just because I was stuck somewhere, and my management at the time, that I had a manager, made them. Okay. My first real tour was with Kevin, who's Inundator members' old band. They're called 4 Letter Lie. Okay. So I went out with them for 30 days in the U.S. and went around the whole U.S. Okay. Yeah.
What exactly are your duties as, I'm guessing you're hired on right now by Day to Remember. What are your duties on the road besides just like the live concert shots? Like what all are you having to do when you get hired for a band?
Yeah, like the live concert shots are what we use every day no matter what. So I shoot those mostly for their fans, for them to have too, but mostly so like the kids who go to the show and stuff can see, hey, that's my concert, that's what happened at my show. Yeah, and like things like that, just so they can maybe post it on their Facebook, have something to remember it by. Yeah. And I did remember like that. But the other, 75% of the day, I take pictures of them doing whatever they're doing. Yeah. And we log a lot of that stuff. Like a lot of that stuff isn't for the internet because it's just, we go to a zoo, take pictures of a few animals, but maybe have pictures of them eating or getting there, doing other things that aren't exactly interesting, but
you get to basically
have those photos,
document their lives on the road.
Yeah, basically, and it's not just for the internet; it's for their personal self to keep for, like Jeremy said, 20 years from now.
That's cool, and I'm guessing you guys probably do a lot of like meet and greet type stuff. You'll be the guy. Like if they do like a fan meet and greet, probably.
Yeah, they've kind of put me into. Currently, like that's one of the things with their VIP meet and greet is like I take the group photo for them, things like that, and kind of get involved and I record the Q&A questions because they're funny. Just things like that. That anything they do during the day, I'm usually just there to document it.
So besides ADTR, what are some of your favorite artists or bands to photograph? For me, I like a challenge and like Jason Butler of Let Live or the Dillinger Escape Plan. Like there's just a lot of crazy movement. What about for you?
Yeah, those bands are good, and I feel like. Not to downplay the photographers that shoot them, no matter what kind of photographer you are, you're going to get good photos, so they're always people's favorite artists to shoot, which I appreciate, but for me, I really enjoy sticking with the band for a long time and like kind of like memorize their live set and know everything they do and really getting the shots I want. And I would say 90% of the live shots we use are just simple live shots, but there's like a good few % that I fucking love. Yeah. And sorry, I said fucking.
Damn it.
Okay, cool. Anyway, other favorite artists, I really like. I went out with Lindsay Sterling recently. And that was awesome. Totally changed.
She's a violin player.
Violin player.
Dances.
And cool lights, and she has some dancers with her. That was awesome. And
that's probably because it was something completely different.
Yeah, totally different. And even though I hadn't known her for a while, I really connected with her. Well, I felt that way. And they were like all friends right up. No, not like that. That's actually, you know what? That's like been my least favorite part of working with a female, because I never work with female artists. Is that all the people who follow me always hint at a relationship, which isn't ever even crossed my mind, and it like kind of.
That's a working business.
Yeah, it's like you guys are gonna ruin this for me. Like I'm just trying to work, and I mean, I would probably do the same thing though if my friend was shooting. so
Yeah.
I get it, but
Yeah, I get that too. I interviewed, you heard of the Butcher Babies? They got like,
Heard of them.
they've got like 2 really good looking female front.
okay.
They're fun to shoot as well. It's like, normally I shoot metal shows, so it's like dudes that are all sweaty and you got 2 playmate looking types.
That's awesome.
Friends will hit me up. You hanging out with anyone else? Like, no, dude, I'm just taking pictures.
Yeah, like I love my job, and those thoughts never even cross my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so into the photography portion of it, like nothing like that ever comes from it.
I asked Jeremy this. What for you? What's like one of your most memorable shows you've attended? You get to go all over the world, all these
Yeah.
festivals and stuff.
Like their shows?
Or no, just like in general. Like some of the bills I see on Soundwave and Download. You get to see these
Yeah.
legendary bands that.
I try to keep notes because I always forget these things on the spot. The shows that I get the most emotional about are definitely their shows because I see so many, and when they have a good show, I can really tell. And it makes me feel really good when they're all really happy and the fans go crazy.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see. And like that's the ones that I'm really like, oh wow, especially at festivals when they really get a big reaction. I like those. Other artists, Ed Sheeran, I don't know if Jeremy said the same thing.
He didn't. We've got someone lurking.
We've got
in
a
the
straggler.
background.
It's okay. Neil's being Neil. Ed Sheeran, we saw at Pukkelpop in Belgium, and we actually didn't even watch him. We were backstage playing cards, but you could hear the whole crowd. I love acoustic acts, and you could just hear the whole crowd singing all his lyrics.
Feel free to join us. He's out of here.
All right. And Neil, I love acoustic acts, and that was insane to hear because he's like a 23-year-old guy. I know he's so young. So many huge songs, and he just rolls up to these festivals with him and his acoustic guitar. He just kills it. And you can hear like 80,000 people singing.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
If you like that, you gotta like the private performance earlier with those guys doing those songs you hear with electric all the time, acoustic.
I love acoustic. When Jeremy asked, he asked during his meet and greet today if they wanted to put out an acoustic album, and everybody was like, "Yeah, do that." And I was like, "Finally, do it, man."
Yeah, that'd
be
be cool.
so awesome. Please, I love their music acoustic. I'm a huge fan.
What do you travel with? I mean, I know you got all your gear.
Yeah.
Are there any other like necessities that you got with you?
Usually I travel pretty light.
Okay.
Like 2 bags, no clothes, because I'm just like kind of airplanes, whatever we're doing.
You're constantly on the road.
Yeah, but for these U.S. tours, because we're in a bus for like a month, excuse me, I burped. We're in a bus for a month, I can kind of bring a bunch of stuff and just leave it on the bus. So on this tour, I actually brought like some clothes, a jacket, my quadcopter to film some aerial stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I broke. I crashed into a tree the other day.
I got a buddy that does that. I'm guessing you probably have a lot of issues with venue security being cool with that. No,
just kind of do stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't really done it inside much. I probably should, like today.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, when there's like fire marshals and stuff, they get really mad.
Yeah.
So
Houston's not the place to do that.
Yeah. So maybe I won't do it today.
Yeah.
So Texas get pissed, but maybe at, like some of the like, not more like ghetto shows, but like we played Fresno, California, and like everybody working the show was not official. So like at that show, I flew it around during soundcheck and stuff in the venue. That's where I broke it.
Yeah.
But like they don't really care. They don't care at all. You know, it's like because the Day to Remember comes from like hardcore roots.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of followings in areas where people wouldn't usually follow big bands, I guess you'd say.
Right on. Any favorite or crazy memories stick out to you, like from a photographer standpoint, of anything that's like happened to you, maybe while you're shooting or on the road? It's just like, oh my god, this was the most bizarre thing, like a situation you put in.
I've had a few.
Yeah.
I think that.
Any you can divulge?
Yeah, I'll keep it PG. You know, the one artist, not one, but like a lot of things that the hardest part I have is like we play a lot of these big festivals and we're backstage with every artist playing it, so you see them all hanging out.
Yeah.
But you're not really allowed to shoot backstage. Like I have trouble even shooting them sometimes. Like security gets mad, and I'm like, this is my job.
Yeah.
So I'm really respectful. Like I'll never point my camera at somebody else backstage because that to me is like, that's like one of the worst things you could do.
Yeah, you could probably.
Yeah, you can get in trouble, but also it's just disrespectful. But
yeah.
It was like backstage at Soundwave, the singer for Jimmy Eat World, and the singer of AFI were both backstage. Like one of them was smoking a cigar, and they were just hanging out, talking outside their dressing room. And I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to take the picture so bad, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because
you just knew.
It wasn't my space, and just things like that it's hard because a lot of the times they're not my stories to tell.
Right.
Like, I'm just there, and if I can take the photo, then that's my way of telling a story. But I'm just like super big on the respect aspect of not doing anything, I guess you'd say.
That's cool, and you gotta be.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations too. I got a chance to interview Phil Anselmo of Pantera earlier this year, and like my all-time favorite.
That's awesome.
And like off the camera, he pulled me aside and just started telling me these like the coolest stories, and it's just, I never really told anybody about it. I didn't write about it or anything. It's just like,
just a cool dude.
it's a cool memory I have. Like he and I shared this.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Last kind of straight from the question, but I hope that works.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Last but not least, I mean, my goal through all this is to hopefully go on the road. I work production at House of Blues, working at the radio station. I get to shoot all these shows on their behalf.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for like an aspiring touring photographer or touring, anything?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're like got the first few steps done, which is kind of getting involved with it, understanding how everything works, kind of getting the vibe of like how you have to act on the road, and I don't know, just being a chill person. A lot of times people don't get thrown into this environment and don't know how to behave, and that's where people mess up. Is they can't. You really have to be part of who you're shooting. You have to be like them. So you don't have tattoos, you look cool, like, not to sound artificial, but that plays a role in it because you need to be equal for the person you're shooting. You don't want to be a hired on, thought of as less than person.
You gotta blend in.
You want to blend in and you want them to respect you. So that's why for me it was key to start smaller and work my way up, because I feel like when some people get hired on by bigger bands, they just get treated like absolute shit. Because to them it's just somebody getting hired on. It's not like a friend or a name, or I don't know. So I think that my advice is for people to start small, know what you want to do next, and know what your ultimate goal is in the back of your head, but don't get bummed out when you're not touring by year 3 or something, you know what I mean? Just kind of keep going with it. Yeah. Keep picking up slowly, keep making friends, making connections, and just do it for the right reasons. It's kind of the same reason A Day to Remember always says with my music, is you do it because you like it, and everything kind of falls into place. You just can't be like, I want to do this, but I'm right here, and I expect that next. There's like all these fun things.
A lot of due-paying.
Yeah, a lot of, and that's what you gotta enjoy. Yeah. Because you're never gonna be really here. Because by the time you're here, then you want to be here, and then you know what I mean. It's like it's a continuum. When you've built like a really cool niche for yourself, in that a lot of people that start out don't really get hired on to do just one thing. I see like a tour manager that also does front of house and so on. So in the production aspect, I've just been trying to learn as much, whether it's lighting or anything, just so hey, I can do this and that. You can go out and do one thing, and I think, and there's actually some famous, I don't know who they are, but a lot of photographers. Who was telling me that? I think it was 3 Doors Down. So we had a lot of crew that was 3 Doors Down's crew, and they're telling me that their photographer started out as something else on the road, and then he started taking pictures, and then he moved over to that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a perfectly good example of how to do it. And, personally, I'm just not any crew job I could not do. Like, I would have a lot of learning ahead of me before I could do it. I'm very klutzy. So I like that I just take care of myself, and I do my own thing, and I work with the band, and don't have any other duties. No, and that's awesome. I mean, that's like the ultimate goal. But yeah, I know. Good point, though. Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Adam. Thank you. Thanks for interviewing me. If you haven't checked out his work, you can go to AdamElmakias.com. Got it. If you like my stuff on Instagram, follow this dude. It's just @Elmakias, right? Yeah, you got it. And if there's any for saying my last name correctly, that's pretty cool. I totally cheated. I think I saw an interview with you and Fro knows photo. Oh yeah. So you said it on there. Is there anything else you want to plug or anything like that? Nah. Thank you. This is cool. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. All right. See you, man. Yeah, dude. Thank you. Good interview. Good job. Thanks.